Okay, everyone, welcome to the Rusty Anchor podcast. This week I'm joined by Julie and Stuart. Do you want to introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, hi, I'm Julie, and this is my husband Stuart. About was it 5 years ago? We
Yeah.
went to the Caribbean. We were invited by some friends, one of which was he'd already chartered boats and he'd already done the trip that he was proposing to take us on. So we were invited along, and there was ourselves. There was also him and his partner and two other friends of theirs. So there's six of us on this yacht, which he chartered, and we went to Martinique.
Okay.
Basically, we all met up and flew to Martinique and picked up the charter yacht from there.
But we've, these friends we've known for many years from when we had a boat in the south of France. So we were well known to them, and likewise. And as Julie said, we met up in Paris first, and then flew to Martinique, and then we did the catamaran hire. It was a company called
Iguana.
Charters.
Okay, that's cool.
But
how long did you go for?
We were actually on board for 15 nights.
15 nights, so 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was quite a long charter. It was great.
So you started off in Martinique, and then did you go
Well, we had a couple of nights in Martinique first, and then we boarded the yacht. We stayed one night in a hotel, and the first night on board in the yacht in Martinique, and then left very early out of Port La Marina, which is on the south side of Martinique, heading off due south straight away down to Stlucia.
Oh, wow. Yeah, St. Lucia. I've seen some pictures and videos of that. Looks really nice.
It is beautiful. Yeah, I mean, all the wind. This is what the islands we sailed, what they call the Windward Islands. So you've got the Leeward Islands from Dominica above Martinique and Dominica and above, and the Windward are the islands that go south right the way down through the Grenadines, down to Union Island and into Grenada. Yeah, I mean, it was about a 45-kilometre run from Martinique to St. Lucia, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Obviously with the wind, there was a strong tide, wind. It's quite a choppy sea, wasn't it?
It was,
the first
yeah.
day was quite horrendous, actually, to be fair.
I mean, we're used to powerboating, and that experience for me was the first time I'd done the journey. And I thought, I'll be fine. We left the marina, and it was really calm, and I was standing there thinking, yeah, this is good. As soon as we got out into the big seas and started going up and down, I must admit I experienced seasickness on the first sort of day. But
no.
I found my sea legs.
Yeah. So was it a catamaran that you were on?
Yes, yeah, it was a 44-foot catamaran, a Fontaine Pajou.
Oh, nice.
I think it's French. I'm not 100% sure. It's beautiful.
Do you remember what company you were with? What was it?
Yeah, it was a company called. It was a private company. What it is they. It's the boats of I think they had a fleet of about 6 yachts, all catamarans, and they're all privately owned, and then they lease or they hire them out.
Yeah.
So you can have bare boat skipper like we did, or you can have them skippered and crewed.
You have bare boat, right?
Yeah, bare boat. Yes, yeah, because our lead guy Patrice has experience in the islands. Wasn't particularly experienced at sailing, so I've later found out. But nevertheless, he still got us to where we had to go. Slightly slow. But he'd been to the islands before, so he knew most of the routes.
Yeah.
So we were safe in his hands. Yeah, it's a 44-foot catamaran, 4-berth. We used because there's only 3 groups of 2. We used the empty berth to chuck all the suitcases, the food, and everything in.
Yeah.
And it had a water maker on board. And yeah, that was it. So off we sailed. Went to St. Lucia, stayed in Rodney Bay. It was on the north side of the island, west side. Huge, great big marina there, mooring area on trots. Most of the trots were about 25 EC dollars per night.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. Yeah, so we had a night there, and then headed south again the following day. So it's quite an extensive, because of the amount of mileage we had to cover. We was up early and then on away normally by about 7-8 o'clock the following day, because obviously we wanted to get to the next island.
Yeah.
And then the next was about a 96-kilometre run, and that was to St Vincent.
Oh yeah, that's
Again,
a really nice place.
Well, yeah, I mean there are some.
They were stunning, weren't they?
Yeah,
absolutely stunning, the islands.
So we obviously we knew we were going to come back the same route as we went, so we stayed at different places on the way back, which I can tell you about.
Yeah.
Cumberland Bay was the main bay that we stayed in. Quite a nice sized bay. At Anchorage, this one, because there's not many. Or it was a bit clash-ready. You feel quite in the lee of the land, but it was still a bit of an uncomfortable evening. But very remote, and we were moored, say anchor, but we're only probably 100 metres off the black sandy beach. But it was in a very tiny beach, and at the back of the beach was all the tin huts all the locals lived in.
How did you find the local people?
To be honest with you, that's really nice. Yeah,
they were very friendly. I mean, English was the first spoken language, so it was easier for us. We were with French friends who didn't necessarily speak a lot of English, but I mean, it was great. I mean, the only thing is, they rely heavily on tourism. So the minute they see a boat, they're straight out to greet you, to tow you into, to moor you and everything else. So
for a small charge.
Yeah, obviously for a small charge. And they sell a lot of their wares to you, be it something they've made or just food, melons, lobsters, whatever they can get their hands on, fruit. Yeah.
They bring come along to the side of the boat with it and sell it, which is great.
Yeah, I guess there's like pros and cons about that. Like, it's nice to like have local, fresh fruits and stuff like that, but it can also be a bit like annoying sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. We read up about it actually, and some of the least lesser inhabited islands, like St Vincent, some of the small bays, and a few of the other islands that which we're going to tell you about as we went south, they are very remote and they are very poor, and we were warned to be careful of pickpockets, to be careful of keep the windows shut on the boat, the portholes closed at all times when you're not there, because arms and hands can come in and any valuables, make sure they're out of sight, because there is a tendency that could happen.
Yeah. Did you feel unsafe?
Only once, but I'll tell you about that later if you like. That was when we ran aground on a coral reef. So I can give you some insights into that.
Tell us what happened.
It was later in the trip. It was one of the last islands we went to in the Grenadines. It was right down in Union Island, and our skipper Patrice. I mean, the voyage isn't particularly well marked, and we went into this small anchorage in the bay, and there was the marina there and whatever. But everybody was on a trot line, and it clearly stated that you should. It was almost like a roundabout. You should go round to the left, but he decided he wanted to go around anti-clockwise instead of clockwise. And I did say, look, pointed it out anyway. Within 30 seconds of that happening, we ran aground. We tried reverse, forward, and all that, but we couldn't get off the coral. It was only literally next to all the other boats. And then this nice local chappie, come along with his boat, threw me a line. I lashed it on. He pulled us off, and then he went on to say, look, I need to talk to you. We need to have a meeting after, which he did. We moored up and he came on board. And then he said, right, okay, well, obviously you're with French people, so you've got euros. We want 900 euros from you, which is quite a lot for about 2 minutes work.
Yeah.
So we negotiated basically. There was a few other guys, the local guys came on board. That's the only time I felt very vulnerable. There was only 6 of us, 3 guys, 3 women, but three guys, and there was about 8 or 9 of these locals from Union Island come on board.
Oh my gosh.
It was a little bit heated, yeah. But we managed to to calm them down, and we negotiated, and in the end, I think we got them down to about 190 euros, so which is okay. So,
yeah, I mean that's a big difference from 900 to 100.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah,
that must have been a bit frightening. It
was, yeah. It did take the edge off being, because we spent a couple of nights in Union Island looking around. Well, again, that was the last island we went to before our return trip, going back north and tracking all the islands on the way back. So we basically did the north part of all the islands on the way down, and then we did the southern ports on the way up. So we didn't go to the same port twice.
Yeah, yeah.
Everywhere is different. And then, you know, from St Vincent, we went to a place, an island called Bequia, which is a really tiny island. We went into Appletree Bay, and then into Port Elizabeth. And in there's some good shops, good supplies, pretty, bit more, not upmarket, but it was a...
Yeah, there's a little bit more to offer.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it was very basic. I mean, obviously, you know, there's not a great deal of choice, because whatever they have, they either grow themselves or they have limited supplies that come into the island.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could always get water, obviously, and some real basic stuff.
But water was expensive.
Water,
so did you bring like food and supplies on board then?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we went shopping in Martinique. We had about 3 or 4 trolley loads.
Literally
of food,
loaded the whole boat up before we even left the marina. Yeah. So we, as I said, we did do some shopping in St Lucia, I think it was, wasn't it, or St Vincent? St
Vincent, I think. Yeah. Then from Bequia, the island of Bequia, went south again another 27, 28 kilometres. Because most of the islands you can see from as you leave the other island. Went to Mystique. Mystique is beautiful. That's where I think
Mick Jagger's got a house, apparently.
And that, I'll tell you, if you're in that area, if you go to Mystique, it is beautiful. Lovell Beach, and you've got Basil's Bar, the restaurant there with the big veranda, jetty. It's stunning.
Wow. So were you kind of like, were you eating on like the restaurants in the on the islands, or were you like mostly cooking on the boat?
We did some and some, to be fair. There were some places where we just decided to eat on board, because there wasn't a lot to, you couldn't see much in the way of restaurants, and it wasn't necessarily the best way to get over on your dinghy and then just walk around, because there wasn't anything there. It's not like you pitch up to an island and then you can see like shops and bars and restaurants. It wasn't that kind of situation. So quite a lot of the time we did eat on board. There was an instance where we were advised to radio up to one of the harbours, and apparently you radioed up, didn't you, on the VHF?
Yeah.
And spoke to a person the other end and said, "Oh, how many lobsters do you want?"
It was a special frequency.
It was.
I think the name was Margaret.
Yeah.
It was just hailed up on the VHF.
She was a really bright character, and she said, "Oh yeah, my brother catches lobsters, and how many do you want?" And
they came back with 3 huge lobsters, like I've never seen. They are monstrous. They're really like this big, and but they were alive.
Yeah. What? So did you have live lobsters on the boat?
Yeah. So we had to dispatch them on the boat. Our French friend Renaud, who's quite timid in a way, very nice chap. But we had the radio going, and as he was sticking the knife in, it was what was the song by Gilbert? No, oh God, Bright Eyes.
Oh yeah, Bright Eyes.
Tear ran down his face. Yeah, so we barbecued on the boat. That's beautiful. Really nice. I did a lot of the cooking on the boat actually. We had a skipper, obviously Patrice. His cooking wasn't particularly good, so I took over the cooking.
I heard about some rice incident. Somebody.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, we had basically on board. We didn't know we had obviously got hot and cold fresh water, but then there's one of the taps on a sail, on a catamaran or sailboat, is salt water.
Yeah.
And you decided.
So I got mixed up, and I literally boiled all this rice in salt water. So you can imagine, once I drained that off, the taste of the rice, it was just inedible, really.
Oh no.
Go down too well, because that was supposed to accompany the meat or the fish that was being cooked at the time. So
Oh,
It was I got the blame for that.
Yeah, but going back onto the islands, we went the island before Biquia was the third island we went to, St Vincent. Is what's I got to spell it? Pronunciation. Wallylubo Bay. It's where they filmed the opening scene to the Pirates of the Caribbean film.
no way.
Yeah, and the set is still there with the jetty.
Oh
It's all a bit run down because the locals, I mean, they have obviously for the first probably 10 years, they've made so much money out of it, but now they don't look after it and it's just a bit more derelict. And there's still the film set there, the jetty, the guns, the coffins.
Oh yeah,
it's just
That's
like
one
walking.
of my favourite films.
Yeah, well, you know, for the opening scene where you've got the three guys hanging from the gallows, and that up on the hill.
That's still there.
And then the other one, if you look left out of the bay, is where they actually carve the face of a pirate in the rocks, and that's still there as well.
Yeah,
it's just visible. Yeah, it's cool. Really
yeah,
cool.
it was a real surreal experience. That was fantastic.
Yeah, because you don't really get to see like the movie sets in real life, do you? So
no, I mean there was literally old film tapes just strewn all over the sort of the area where they had the pictures and the set. It was a shame really, but obviously it's just been left and not upkept. But you really could soak up the atmosphere of how the film was and what they did.
On a more serious note, when you go to these islands, obviously each island, some of the islands are French, some have their own port authorities, so you have to go to customs before you sort of land and show your papers. You must do that, otherwise there is you can have a bit of an issue. But on the on St Vincent, the set when we got onto the rib and onto the land, literally walking onto this set, this whole rundown, it said Capitaine office for port authority. I walked in there with all the papers, and there was two of the local gendarmes there smoking marijuana. I opened the door up, said, "Do you want to see some paper?" I went, "No, man, it's good. You go." So, that's it.
you've all done their own thing, chilling.
Yeah.
So then we went to another island from the States, Canoan Island. These are all the Grenadines, all the tiny, small islands. And then we ate in there. We in a restaurant there called Anika's Place, I think, which was really nice. Again, there's only one restaurant in the tiny village that you land in, sort of thing.
So you just take the dinghy off, and
these are not big marinas.
The
these are tiny little places.
Yeah, but I feel like there's places where you get like the best food and the best.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And then we went from there into a place called Tobago Cays, which is it's a national marine park.
Oh wow!
There's a group of about it's called Tobago Cays. If you have a look, there's a group of about 6 islands, but they're uninhabited because they're marine for the marine life.
Oh wow! So did you see like loads of marine life?
Oh god, yeah.
There's
rays,
turtles everywhere, bobbing up and down, and you can just literally swim with them, and
dive down and watch
it's almost
feeding.
like an oasis in the middle of the ocean. You just wouldn't expect to see really calm, beautiful turquoise waters.
There's a coral reef,
little islands around it, which you can just swim to or take your dinghy to.
It was absolutely stunning.
That was an incredible experience.
And then we had on one of the islands to help finance the rangers, the marine rangers, on a Friday or Saturday evening. I can't recall what it was, but they come around with a boat. So would you like to come on this island for a barbecue? So you go on, I think it's called Barradell Island, and they set up a big barbecue there. So you have to bring your own booze, but they do all the food. So you get all the rice, bread.
Pay them for it,
I think it was about $25 each. But you get these huge lobsters, if you like seafood. And they barbecue it all, and there's all meats and stuff. And it is fantastic, but they have to be cleared. Everything has to be cleared by 10 o'clock. And all the island where they've cooked gets cleared off. Nothing's left on the island every evening. Yeah.
That's so cool.
The guy that's really famous apparently is Willie.
Yeah.
He's the one that comes around and obviously goes to each boat and says, "Oh, I'm Willie, and
this taxi driver.
This is what we do, and
it's cool.
It's going to cost you X amount for an evening, and
but you must take your own booze."
Yeah.
So
But again, fantastic experience. Absolutely.
But yeah, Tobago Cays are stunning, absolutely stunning. They really are great. Probably the highlight of our trip, because again, with the marine life, the turtles, the sea life, it's just stunning. And it's surrounded by coral reef, so it's very, although there's a bit of a current running through it, you can see the breakers out the other side, probably only half a mile away, but it's just beautiful. And you're in the middle of the ocean.
It's just really surreal.
Yeah. And then we go on to Union Island, which was the last island in the group, where we had the problem with running aground, as we told you. We had a look around the island. It's very volcanic, but very nice.
Yeah.
And then we headed back north, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
But when we left, before we left Union Island, there's a man-made island that a guy's built over the course of 20 or 30 years out of the conch shells.
Oh yeah.
He's made this island. It's just off the base, probably about half a mile out.
He made it out of conch shells.
Yeah, out of conch shells and cement. Yep. And it's a restaurant and a bar. And the other way you get to it, obviously, is by boat or rig.
Yeah.
And you just sit out there on the terrace or indoors, whichever you want to do. But generally out on the terrace because it's so warm. Just watching the sunset. It is stunning, beautiful.
Yeah,
all out of shells. It's probably, I don't know, 50 metres round, 60 metres round.
Wow.
That's
incredible.
Yeah.
I wonder how they did that.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of them shells around. One of the islands in the.
It took him a good few years to build, obviously.
I can imagine.
I can't remember. I can't remember what the island's called, but it's in the bay.
I think it's just a bar. The name of the bar.
Yeah, it's in the bay of Union Island.
Yeah.
And then we sort of headed north out of Union Island, northeast, and slightly over a bit, staying in the Grenadines to Mayru, another island. And we stayed in Carnash Bay, which is just amazing. It's stunning. You just sit there. It is.
But you just pitch up and you pick up a mooring buoy, and there's loads of them all spread around.
We didn't actually go on that island, did we?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, then we went back to, the other islands, Cameron Island, Bequia, up to St Vincent, and then we went to Stlucia. But we stayed at the south end of Lucia this time on Southern Point near Soufrière, which is a volcano.
Oh, so was it active?
Yeah.
And there you've got all the.
Well, we literally took a trip, pre-organised trip up to the base of the volcano, and you can see it all bubbling away, and obviously the smell that you would expect, like rotten eggs.
Yeah, something.
But you had the opportunity, which we did take, was to you go into these like mineral water pools, really warm.
Very hot.
Very hot.
Videos of those.
Yeah. And then
I stink. Oh God.
Yeah.
Did you go in them then?
Oh yeah. In the swimway you just go in, and then when you come out, you can get completely covered from head to foot in clay, like a mud, clay mud, which is supposed to be very good for your skin. It removes toxins and cleans your skin. But you're just like covered in mud in your swimwear.
Just like a big swimming pool. They just throw mud at each other.
Yeah.
Just push people over. It's great. It's just a big mud pool.
That sounds like an experience of a lifetime, though.
It was actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I'd love to do it again. Go back.
Yeah.
Go to some different islands.
If you went back, what would you do different?
Difficult question. You go to some different islands.
I think probably
I'd like to go to Grenada or start further north. Maybe start up in the Leeward Islands, a little bit further, Dominican Republic, and then travel south.
Yeah.
But some of the islands that spend more time on some of the islands.
Yeah, most of the time we just did a one-night stop.
Yeah.
Or two at the most.
Yeah. I mean, in Stlucia, you've got the hot springs, the mud pools. You've got the Spider-Man waterfalls, which are beautiful.
So maybe you feel like you would spend a little bit more time in some of the places and less time.
Yeah. I mean, without being unkind to Patrice, because obviously he's not here to defend himself. He actually now lives in Martinique. He was a bit slow in the yacht wasn't particularly quick. He didn't put the sail up too much, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm not yachty. And so we were taking probably twice or three times the length of time to get between the islands.
Right.
So all our time, instead of getting there by sort of late morning lunchtime and 11 in the afternoon, we weren't getting there till evening.
Right, yeah. So
It was a bit.
your skipper was obviously not that like what's the word, like experienced.
Yeah, correct.
Did
Yeah, I
you,
think that's right. I
did
think
you
he
feel like
was.
that like the area that you were cruising in was good for beginners, or would you think that it's
Yeah, I think so. I think you. Yeah, I'd say you could do it. Yeah, definitely. I would. I
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah, when you say beginner, somebody's got obviously, yacht master or competent crew or whatever. Yeah, definitely. But maybe to take the pain away is to have a skipper, or certainly get a skipper for the first couple of islands, because then they can fly back and leave you to it.
yeah.
Yeah, fly on to
yeah.
Canawan anyway.
I mean, you can
small
get power cats as well, so you can get which is
Which is your vibe more than the sailing.
yeah, we'll sort
maybe
of
next time.
sailing things and ropes and what.
Would you do that if you were gonna go back? Would you go for more of a motorboat than a sailing boat?
If I did it on my own, just Julie and I with some friends who were both experienced, I'd go power cat, definitely, because I'm not experienced enough to sail a yacht in them seas. No, I wouldn't do that. But to go with somebody with experience, in definitely, yes.
Yeah, I'd definitely do it again on the yacht. Yeah.
But again, I mean, there's so many different ports you can go into on the islands and spend so much time investigating the islands and having a look around. I mean, mangoes just drop by the side of the road, and it's just a smorgasbord of fruit and whatever. It's great.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
And the weather, and the weather.
Yeah, the weather, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but we went in.
March actually, which
is
isn't their hottest time. But I mean, for us, obviously, yeah, it was. I mean, it was 28 degrees, 26, 28 degrees consistently.
Yeah.
Which was great.
And also, it's a cheaper time of year to hire.
Yeah.
To charter a boat.
What was the wind like? Was it good for sailing?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It was constant. Yeah.
Yeah,
20 knots, 25 knots.
Lovely warm wind.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I think somebody could probably describe it as champagne sailing. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Somebody said that. I don't know who, but yeah. So no, we definitely go back, and I would definitely recommend it without a doubt. But there's so many islands to see there, and you could spend weeks just bombing around the island.
Yeah.
Maybe as and when the retirement comes, and rather than just have 2 weeks, go down there for a couple of months or something. Can do it.
Yeah. Do you think you would need a little bit longer?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we've just touched on over 15 nights, or 14 nights actually sailing. Then we've just touched on the islands. Yeah. But they are beautiful. They are beautiful. Yeah. So, and there's other places in the world obviously to go to.
Yeah.
We've the only other yacht we've been on was 2 other yachts. One was off of Hyundai many years ago, between Spain and France.
Yeah.
And we went out on a big 60-foot yacht, a friend of ours, and then the wind dropped and we got stuck out there for 2 or 3 hours bobbing around. But other than that, yeah. So and then I went on a yacht in the Solent a year or so ago, which was quite fun. So,
Oh yeah, I can imagine that being great.
Yeah, the skipper was okay. Yeah, had a drinking problem, but he's okay.
Oh no, that doesn't sound good.
We got over it. Yeah, so anyway, it was good.
How did you find the boat? What did you like the most about it?
I mean, it was well appointed. It had everything that you needed, and because it was a catamaran, it was quite wide. So you had a lounge area, but you also had quite a wide area for sitting outside. And
we had a cockpit area.
Yeah.
And you got the lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a great big solar panel on the back.
Oh wow.
So everything charged up with sun power as well, which was great.
Yeah, and the 4 bedrooms all had their own ensuite.
Yes.
Oh,
albeit small, but yeah.
And a tip for anybody who's going to contemplate doing a catamaran: always try and get in the rear bedroom rather than the front point of it.
Yeah.
There's more room in the rear, in the aft cabins. So which we were lucky to get into.
Yeah.
So,
but no, I mean, well equipped.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, cooker, everything you wanted.
Big fridge, big freezer, which is essential, obviously, if you're going to be away for a while.
True.
So,
but definitely charter a yacht again.
Yeah.
Maybe similar sort of size boat, but again, it depends on how many of you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you were obviously, there was 6 of you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. If you're going to do 8 of you, then maybe you need a bigger boat.
yeah.
With a bit more space. So, hang on, somebody just put something on the screen. So yeah.
Yeah, but no, it was great. I mean, as I said, we would do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Yeah.
What was the negatives about the boat?
About the boat.
Yeah, like if you had
The water maker packed up.
It broke down.
oh no.
Yeah. So we.
So you couldn't get a shower?
No, we did. We just had to
Yeah.
be very frugal, you
A bit
know.
conservative.
I mean, the French shower was just a quick with deodorant. No, we were very frugal, very careful. And obviously, we were in some of the ports we could fill up the water, but they charged you for it as well.
Yeah.
And it was very expensive. It was almost as expensive as fuel.
Usually, like, the company should come out and fix that for you. Did they not?
They tried to. They didn't have a part, and so they say the part wasn't obtainable. It was some special filter or something. I can't think of it. They couldn't get it.
So they did say. I think they did say to us in the beginning, didn't they, that there is an issue with this.
It could break down. It did. So
that's just a risk you take. But we just loaded up with loads and loads of bottles of water before we even left port initially. So yeah, we were full to the brim. But yeah, we did have a little bit of an issue, but it wasn't enough to spoil the holiday.
I think that was the only really negative part of the boat, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, as Julie said, there was so much space on board. We had a great screen in the cockpit of an evening. It was great, good music playing at the barbecue, you know, just chatting away. It was good. When we were at anchor, we couldn't go in. You know, it was too not dangerous, but at night you didn't want to go in to these small, remote little villages because you probably never come out. Or you find we've not been end up in a pot the next morning, you know.
Oh God.
They weren't particularly well lit because obviously, you know, electricity and all that kind of thing was a little bit limited.
We did have one incident with a guy on these when you come along these islands on the yacht. These locals come out on their little wooden boats with the big outboards on the back, and they come hurtling out. And then they come up to you and they say, "No, we take you into the bay," which they do. They show you in, and then they grab your line, and then they hook you on for you. And they charge you $25 easy dollars, which is about £5, and that's the cost of the buoy for the night. But we were coming into one island, and as we came in, there was one of these little boats with these below the local, and he had his arms up, and she's frozen. Oh, he said that we got pulled up to him. He said his engine had broke, so we lobbed him a line. We towed him in. We found a moor anyway, and the next thing, he opened up the engine, pulled it, started off. He went out and did the same to the next yacht. So we were pulling him in, so saving fuel.
Oh.
Yeah. So
But still charging.
Yeah. So that evening, this is the bay where they filmed the Pirates film. We went into there's a little bar there called Pirates Bar, and he came. We were sitting on a table, that's and then he came in. This guy with his mate. So I went up to him. I said, "You're a con man," and he said, "Oh, you know." Anyway, he wanted to give us some seafood or fish or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, "I'll give you some fish tomorrow," which he did. So
a little bit of compensation, though.
But yeah, I mean, they just rely so heavily on. Sorry.
Pardon?
Oh,
I was just saying a little bit of compensation for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wouldn't get but they do. I mean, they do. So we had another one where there was a bit more of a misunderstanding that they took an aft line off the back of our boat and tied it to the base of a palm tree on the beach. There's all the boats were all anchor out the front, and then they pull you in. And in the morning we had to leave quite early, and we hadn't. I think we'd paid, but they wanted more money to untie us from the palm tree in the morning. So one of our guys, Renault, he swam in, untied, and then he put his wrist around the rope, and we pulled him in quick. And with that, this local come out of his little tin shed in his house, jumped in his robe, and was coming out to us. We just opened the throttles off and went. But yeah, we believe he wanted more money. So
yeah, like like Julie says, they really rely on like that money, don't they? And so
Yeah,
It's,
sometimes it's their only form of income.
yeah.
which is quite unfortunate at the same
So I didn't hear that.
I was just saying that it's quite unfortunate for them.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of charter companies out there, I guess, which obviously, you can look at it through, compare the yacht charters, which is good. So, the golf teams,
Sorry?
They compare golf teams, not as good as it should be. Oh,
they need to work on that. They need to work on that.
Anyway, sorry, no problem.
Well, I think that's everything.
Sure. Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add?
Okay.
No,
not really.
Google compare the yacht charters.
Yeah.
And just go for it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah, fulfill your dreams. Definitely, while you can.
Awesome.
Good.
All right. Well, you can find lots of information on our website at compareyachtcharters.com, and we'll see you in the next podcast.